Okay. All right. Welcome back to a spooky episode. Oh, wait, no. I shouldn't say spooky episode.
It's not spooky.
It's not spooky because I'm not going to get this done before Halloween. So, welcome to a very normal episode of Media Munchies podcast. Not spooky. Sorry.
Very normal.
Very normal. But also maybe a bit different because today I want to do something sort of new, but it's still media, but I want to dive into one specific episode of one specific TV show. And that TV show is...
Drum roll, please.
Thank you so much. I love this drum roll. That show is Hannibal. And basically, I'm here, Logan, Gauri's here, but I did watch this and write this analysis by myself, so I'm going to be doing most of the talking. I know. Isn't it very sad and tragic?
You always talk more though.
Then you?
Come on.
Okay, well, yeah, I am the host of this podcast,
Yes,
so
that's how it's supposed
fair
to
enough.
be.
So basically, what I'm going to do is go through this episode of Hannibal and kind of see the things that maybe I missed when I watched it first, or things that are really surprising, or things that are like the dramatic irony is real. Because I just feel like this show is full of these little foreshadowing hint moments and moments that, like, if you're not thinking, you don't have your brain turned on, you're gonna miss. This show is one of my favorite shows of all time, first of all. Second of all, it's like really dramatic. This show is just really dramatic. And the writers think they're so special, and to be honest, they are, because this show is great. And yeah, so from the very first episode, there are these insane little hints and vibes going on. So I just thought I would just talk about these moments that I noticed throughout the first episode. I'm not going to do this for every episode of Hannibal, because that would be a commitment. You know what I'm saying? So I do plan on doing a episode on Hannibal, just the show, at some point, because it is one of my favorite shows and I need an episode on it, and I have a lot to say about the show in general. But to do this, it's going to be different, and it's going to be a thing that theoretically I could do on every episode, but I don't see that happening. Maybe it'll take my entire lifetime. I'll do it. I won't give myself a deadline. My deadline will just be
Whenever
my
you
whole
feel
life.
Like
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But I could do it, and that was the goal of this.
But you're not making any promises.
Exactly. This is a start, but it's not it's something that where's the ending? You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I'm trying to think of something deep and Hannibal You know how he says those things.
Capricorn.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a Capricorn.
Capricorns be pretentious.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Hannibal is definitely a Capricorn, and he's got I'm thinking he has some Aquarius influence, and he has some maybe Gemini energy as well. It's just calm down. I just don't...
Yeah.
The vibes are too much. That's too intense. I didn't mean to shade a specific person, but I'm shading Hannibal as a person, because the lines that he says are just dial it back a bit. So, to get to an example, I just want to start off with the beginning of the show, which he is not in. It kind of goes to this weird, cop show thing, but it's what? He's imagining himself as the killer? Whoa, this is a twist. It's oh yeah, you call this a twist? The whole show is a twist. So, it's haha, look at us, we're like a cop show with a twist, but it's hiding so much under the surface. And I think it makes for a really good opening scene to the show, basically. Yeah, I really enjoyed the opening scene.
Because it doesn't give too much away, or why did you like it?
Just because it's a good introduction, that's as if it's telling us, look at us, we're a cop show with a twist. But it also doesn't reveal the extent of the twist. It's like, oh, he imagines himself as the killer. Oh, but also the killer is this dude. Oh, but they're also, like, gay and in love, you know? So it's like, oh, there's so many kind of, like, yeah, so basically that. And I like how he's like, oh, it's like he's teaching it to his students, and then he hits us with this line. He says, everyone has thought about killing someone, be it by your own hand or by the hand of God. And I'm like, this is already foreshadowing. You're already foreshadowing Hannibal's God complex in your, like, first line of the show. Okay, wonderful. And I especially like that line because it's like, Will kills somebody, kills people by his own hand, and also, like, because of Hannibal, like, by the hand of God, because Hannibal has, like, influenced his mind. And it's like, it's sort of the inner conflict too, because Will, I feel like he's like, did I killed this person, but was it by my own hand, or was it because I was influenced by this God, which is what Hannibal wants to be, right? So basically, yeah, it's the internal conflict, and it's foreshadowing to Hannibal's God complex already within, like, first 5 minutes of the show. Wow. So then Jack Crawford comes over and he's like, what up, Will? And then they talk about this Evil Minds Research Museum, and it's like Jack wanted to call it that. And it's like, oh, this really shows Jack's character immediately and how he is about mental illness. Evil minds, to say somebody has an evil mind, it shows that Jack is, like, ignorant, you know, neurotypical. Like, he's like, oh, I don't have mental illness, so. But it's at the same time, Jack, you probably do have mental illness.
Yeah, come on.
And basically, like, how he treats Will, it's like, oh, yeah, already with this Evil Minds Research Museum, you know he's going to treat Will interestingly. And then it shows, like, Will's character too, because he's like, yeah, I don't like being social, I can empathize with any killer. And it's like, whoa, bro. So anyways, I'm going through my notes here because I didn't write something for every scene, and I also have the script pulled up on the side. So yeah, then basically Jack is honing in and being like, ooh, Will. And Will's like, don't know about this one, because they're going to the to solve the murder. I'm not going to go through every detail, because basically the point of this is, like, you've seen it and you want to know the things you missed. Like, my target audience right now is people who have seen Hannibal but are interested to know some deeper analysis. As if I'm doing, this is not analysis, this is just, I would say that it's observational data. Sorry to hit you with an observational data vibe, but this, yeah, it's just observations, and some of them aren't even cool. Like, some of them you'll be like, yeah, this is obvious, but I just wanted to, like, share my thoughts. Okay, basically, then Will adopts this dog. It was very cute. That's all I have to say about that scene. Will, oh, it kind of shows that Will likes to save people, and, like, it's also so insane that everything is foreshadowing, because it's basically foreshadowing for Will wanting to adopt Abigail Hobbs. You know, that whole vibe. Aw.
I want them to be my dad.
Yeah. Don't we all want murderous gay dads?
Hey, at least, like, I would be protected. Like, he won't kill me because I'm his daughter.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Exactly.
Know what I mean?
Oh, just kidding, but Hannibal did kill Abigail Hobbs.
That's because Will fucked up.
Yeah, that doesn't give him an excuse to kill somebody.
Like, it's like...
You can't punish Abigail for...
It's like, here's the thing, though. When your parents have separation, it's better that the child doesn't go through it. So I feel like he was saving Abigail some...
Oh my god. By killing her. Okay,
yeah, by killing her. It's better than, like, fuck, dude.
Than witnessing a divorce?
It fucks you up.
Oh my god. Someone's bringing some issues to the table.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. We'll get Hannibal as your therapist, and he will help you. Just kidding. He'll make it worse.
Completely.
Okay, so basically, Will is talking about the killer of these people, and he's like, he's a sensitive psychopath. And I'm like, I don't know if this is Hannibal or not, because Will says he risked trying to get caught. Like, I know they're talking about Garrett Jacob Hobbs here because, yeah, obviously they are. But I don't know if this is, like, a comparison to Hannibal when you think about it. Because at the same time, Hannibal did risk getting caught for Will later on in the show. Yeah. But I don't know if that it's like a direct reference to that or foreshadowing on purpose or what is it. But I don't know. I still liked this description of the sensitive psychopath who will risk getting caught because like I don't like it. Obviously, I don't like the idea, but I just like how Will really goes in depth with these descriptions and like he knows everything. Legend, king. So then, basically, yeah, I was just trying with that one. That's not, like, a full point. Some of these are just, like, things I relate to. Your strongest drive is fear. Literally me. Who were they talking about? Will, I think. Oh, yeah, Alana was talking about Will. Oh, I love Alana.
She's
so hot.
Like, oh, my God, I want a wife. Like Alana Bloom.
Yeah, honestly.
Oh, my God.
I cannot believe...
These homosexuals, the amount of homosexuals in this show.
Yeah, I love it. Murder husbands and murder wives. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, 'cause she killed her brother.
Yeah, they killed the dude together.
But he, like, kind of deserved it.
Oh, he totally did, though. He was a bitch. Okay, anyways, we're getting way ahead here. So, we're continuing on. Like, everyone's being like, don't let Will get too close. Like, come on. Is that really gonna happen? Is Jack really gonna not let Will get too close? Like, what do you expect from Jack Crawford, who wants to, like, use them as tools in the name of justice? Because Jack Crawford is like, ugh.
He's an asshole, too.
He kind of is, but, like, I kind of still love him.
No, but the amount of assholes in the show.
Yeah, everyone is a dick and has some kind of complex. Oh, Jack Crawford definitely has a God complex too. Because he wants to use Will to his advantage in the way of, like, saving people's lives. And Hannibal wants to do it in the opposite way. Taking people's lives.
You're right.
And it's like Battle of the Gods. And I'm obsessed with it. I'm so obsessed sad with this show.
Like, Will is, like, stuck in the middle all
the
time.
As if Will doesn't have a savior complex and want to be like Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior.
Ew.
But Will literally wants to save people constantly. That's his whole thing. That's why he lets Jack push him in this direction. He's like, oh, fuck. Yeah. If I don't do this, then people will die. And that was fucked up. It was really sad.
Do you really think he had an option? I feel like you're saying that he had an option, but he really didn't.
He really didn't, because, like, his morals wouldn't let him. But at the same time, like, you didn't have to go all, I want to adopt Abigail Hobbs. Like, I get that was his emotions, but he could have, like, stepped away from it instead of getting closer and getting all mixed up in it with her dad and all that stuff. Yeah. Like, I get he was having nightmares, but, like, yeah, if you save somebody, I feel like it's a good idea not to develop, like, a personal relationship with them.
Oh, yeah.
Just a thought, especially if you're, like, FBI and investigating their case. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Because you get too emotionally involved.
Yeah, and especially as a psychologist. Oh, now we're going to psychology ethics. How boring. Let's get out of this territory here. But yeah, okay. Anyways, that's the tea. Thank you for... You're helping me, like, have thoughts about this besides my notes. Because if I just read my notes, that'd be boring as hell. Thank you for helping me with my conversation.
I like to know how your brain works sometimes, you know, like...
Thank you.
Because you come up with these insights that I don't think of, and it's really cool to know.
Well, thank you for also having insights into this. Okay, because I was going to do this alone, and honestly, doing this alone is, like, a sucky thing. I didn't feel like doing it anyways. So I'm glad I waited. So basically, the next scene that was great was when Will was like, he's eating them,
Oh,
about
God.
the bodies, and then immediately there's a cut to Hannibal. So it's like, wait, is this the killer? And you think it's Hannibal for a second. It's really interesting how they do that, because it's like, oh, he's not the killer. And then you're like, but what's he eating though? And then you're like, oh, he is a killer. But that's later on. So basically, he's eating them, says Will, and then they cut to Hannibal, which, great scene. Okay. And then Hannibal's patient Franklin. Now, don't even get me started on Hannibal's patient Franklin. So basically, Hannibal is with his patient Franklin, and I've never, like, this dialogue hit different. I've always sort of related to Hannibal's patient Franklin in the weirdest fucking way, because he's so, like, over emotional and funny, and he's like, that's sometimes how I see myself, you know?
Aww.
But anyways, so Franklin is like,
Is he one of the annoying ones? Like, you know how the therapist, I forget his name, who writes the book on Hannibal?
Dr. Chilton?
Yeah, he gets eaten up by the...
Yeah, Dr. Chilton.
Yeah, like, do you think, you know, he's a good, like, character, but he's, like, dumb?
He's dumb. I guess Franklin's kind of dumb, and he seems kind of annoying, but honestly, he means no harm. He does no bad things. He has no complexes, so I like him as a character. Honestly, I think he's pure.
Okay, cool.
Chilton's really stupid, and he's not pure, but I still love him.
You love a lot of
Low-key.
people in this show.
I think I just love everyone in this show, except for, I'm trying to think.
Alana Bloom's brother-in-law.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Mason Verger. Yes,
can-
I fucking hate
he can
Mason
suck
Verger.
my dick.
And I hope he dies in hell.
Gets eaten up by his eels.
I hate that. The fucking eels. To own eels is like you're already a dick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Full on.
Like,
Okay.
Don't have fucking serpents in the house. What is wrong with you?
Serpents
Like,
in the house.
What is, like, do you have
No,
mental issues?
snakes.
I mean, yeah, of
Hey,
course.
whoa. Just chill out there.
Of
Okay.
course.
Snakes, people own snakes. And I don't
No.
like it.
What are you gonna do? Cuddle with the snake and sit it on your body? What the fuck?
Yeah, okay, you're right.
It makes
Okay.
no sense.
But we're moving on from the subject, please.
Sorry.
It's horrible. Yeah, but to own eels, that's a bit ridiculous. But anyways, sorry. We keep getting off track. So his patient Franklin, right? Franklin starts off hitting us with a strong one. I hate being this neurotic. Me too, broski. Like, straight up. I
can attest to that.
Yeah, I did the neuroticism test, and, like, I got high neuroticism. The neuroticism test. The, 5-factor model. Sorry.
What is that?
I hate these, psychology vibes. But anyways.
You love them, don't
I
lie.
do love them. Anyways, yeah, Franklin's like, I hate being this neurotic. And then, just the dialogue here. Hannibal says, if you weren't neurotic, Franklin, you would be something much worse. Ugh. Like, no comment. And then Hannibal says, our brain is designed to experience anxiety in short bursts, not the prolonged foamy lathers of duress your neuroses seem to enjoy. It's why you feel as though a lion were on the verge of devouring you. And I'm like, God damn. Because, okay, now we're going to get personal on this. It doesn't matter. I went to the therapist and I had a brain map done, and it was basically like, she basically told me that, like, I'm anxious all the time, and I'm like, okay, cool, that's great. That's why I'm so tired. That's why, like, I feel anxious all the time, because I am in my brain. And so I just relate to what Hannibal is spewing about Franklin. And Hannibal then says, you have to convince yourself the lion is not in the room. When it is, I assure you, you will know.
I feel like he's talking about himself.
He's obviously talking about himself. And I'm like,
Fucking
Hannibal, you... he just frustrates me, the way he makes these jokes so casually about himself being evil. And I'm like, can people not, like, what in the world? Okay,
Like,
but...
why don't you change your therapist, Franklin?
Because Franklin kind of gets obsessed with Hannibal.
I mean, who wouldn't?
Exactly. It's really funny, but also kind of sad. But
it's the magnetism, That's what the character has.
Yeah.
It's just that otherwise he wouldn't, like, people would see through his bullshit. It's
obviously.
It's the charisma that's doing...
Yeah, exactly.
Like, helping him camouflage. I never recognized this until today.
Pop off.
What the fuck? Like, he wouldn't survive a day if he wasn't as charming as he was.
Ugh, you're so right. And, like, that's made obvious very quickly. And that was the Franklin scene, basically. So, yeah, I was like, oh, that's kind of good advice, Hannibal. Convince yourself the lion is not in the room. But is it good advice, though? Let's discuss. From a therapeutic standpoint, is it good advice? I don't know. I just feel like everything contributes to a perspective, If that's how certain people deal with anxiety, I'll try it out,
But that's the thing. It's easier said than done. He's like convincing yourself, but like he's not really giving the tools.
with like when you have a good therapist, you get the tools. But a lot of times with advice for mental health, and I guess they were just trying to show the baseline and not go like deep into therapeutic tools because that's not the point of the show. But yeah, with all kinds of advice, it's easier said than done. But anyways, yeah, I did like that line. You have to convince yourself the lion is not in the room. When it is, I assure you, you will know it. Which, I don't know, it's an interesting perspective on anxiety. Even though it's fucking scary. Crazy Hanny. So then, this scene is great. Jack Crawford walks in and he's like, hey, I'm Special Agent Jack Crawford, as if he's investigating Hannibal. And it's like, oh my god, he's investigating Hannibal. It must be him. But then Jack is like, oh no, I'm not investigating you. I'm here for your like professional psychological opinion on this killer profile thing. But also like he's low-key getting Hannibal to like psychoanalyze Will because like he's like, Will needs a therapist. And I think Alana Bloom recommended Hannibal to Jack, which is like, oh my god.
Fucked up. I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure that's the case. But it's so interesting how they're like, oh, maybe Jack's investigating him. Oh, just kidding. No, obviously not. Because it really shows, like...
how trusting he is.
How trusting Jack is of Hannibal. And this will continue throughout so much of the show because it's just a thing. It's just a thing.
You just trust Hannibal. You just do.
I don't know how he does it like this.
What do you mean?
Because of the amount of jokes Hannibal makes and how Hannibal like fully fits the profile. They were like running around like, oh, this is like surgical grade like stuff. And Hannibal's like, haha, do you want to come over to my dinner party? We're having lungs. And they're like, lungs? That sort of sounds familiar. Like, didn't the killer like... And Hannibal's like, yep, killer. Haha, isn't this meal killer? And everyone's like, oh, yes, it sure is, Hannibal. I wonder, I really wonder. Not that your name rhymes with cannibal or anything.
Oh, God.
And that's why the show is so goddamn funny.
The irony.
Yeah. Yeah, Hannibal's kind of a bitch. So we're gonna continue on with these parts. Yeah, so it's interesting how they make it seem like Jack is investigating him, but he's not. And yeah, then basically Jack wants him to help with a psychological profile, but it's secretly Will. And then there's like the great meeting between Hannibal and Will, and it's very interesting.
My dad.
Yeah, exactly. So then it starts off with they're talking about Freddie Lowndes posting a picture of like the dead body, and Will Graham says tasteless. And Hannibal says, do you have trouble with taste? And then Will Graham says, my thoughts are often not tasty. And it's like, come on, folks. Like, is this how you start off flirting? Talking about taste? Y'all are disgusting. And also, like, referencing food, right? And eating, because cannibalism. But it's like, come on, these guys. Why do they have to be like this? I feel like the writers thought they were so clever with this, talking about taste. And to be honest, they were.
They will.
They were. And then Hannibal just, like, psychoanalyzes Will. And then it's like the way he's flirting is just way too much. Yeah, so basically, it's like the meeting, and then Will is kind of annoyed because, like, he finds out that Hannibal's, like, trying to psychoanalyze him and is like, what the... like, this dude is...
the consent?
Yeah, this dude is annoying. But then Will, like, he's obviously, like, secretly impressed, you know, and Hannibal is clearly impressed by Will and his, like, empathy powers because he talks to Jack after it and says this nice line, which is, perception's a tool that's pointed on both ends. And I'm like, ooh, what does it mean? And then Hannibal says, this cannibal you have him getting to know. I think I can help Goodwill see his face. And it like shows, it's like a close-up on Hannibal's face. I'm like, come on, guys. Stop. And also, the implications of that line are the next kill, basically they find another body. And so this was basically Hannibal trying to get Will's attention. Hannibal made this kill to get Will's attention because he's directly like, ooh, and to also like get Garrett Jacobs Hobbs's attention. To have this elaborate scheme so Garrett Jacob Hobbs would now like do something, and then Will, I don't know, he didn't even do anything though. Like, it was directly to get Will's attention because Garrett Jacob Hobbs didn't even like see anything, and then they caught him without, like, this wasn't even a trap for Garrett Jacob Hobbs is what I'm trying to say. To get Will to see this cannibal, as in Garrett Jacob Hobbs, it was to get Will to see him. He was talking about himself.
Yeah.
Because
it becomes apparent later.
He wants to impress Will, and it's so fucked up, the layers upon layers of like
irony,
subtext, and like, oh, he's saying this but he means this, oh, but this is foreshadowing for this as well. It's like way too much. But basically, yeah, he wants to impress Will and to help Will. And then Will is kind of pissed with Hannibal. He's like, have Dr. Lecter pull up a profile if you're so impressed with him. And it's like, come on. And the thing is, Will, when he finds this body, he's like, ugh, this guy's like an intelligent psychopath. He'll be impossible to catch. And he's like secretly impressed by this intelligent psychopath. But then he's also like shading Hannibal. And it's like, oh, Will, if you only knew it's the same person. And also gives a shady comment later, which is, I don't find you that interesting. Which is like, oh my god.
He's lying. It's called denial. Actually, I relate to that.
It's denial, but he's also like trying so hard.
You like find the person you genuinely like, you just like straight up deny it for
Are you talking
together.
About something
Personal?
specific?
Yes.
Personal?
You know this shit over there.
Yes, obviously. But then yeah, I don't find you that interesting. But before that, there was a scene where they show the deer. So the classic deer that's in Will's mind that represents Hannibal, and they have the deer knock before Hannibal is at Will's door. Like, they have the knock when they're showing the deer. And I just like it. Like, it's not really that subtle of a message that the deer is Hannibal, but I don't know. It's a good detail, and I like it. So then, basically, I said he feeds him right away because Hannibal fully gives Will this meat and is like, let's share a breakfast. And it's like, you're feeding this dude human meat already. Like, goddamn, he's forward. And then, yeah, and then he says, I don't find you that interesting. And then Hannibal says, you will. And all I can think of when he says, you will. Yeah, the cockiness, but all I can think of is, you will. Me, Hannibal. Get it? Because Hannibal and Will. Okay, sorry. It's too much. So then Will starts talking about this gift-wrapped crime scene, and Hannibal's like, oh, that was me. Oh, excuse me. And then, yeah, the dramatic irony is so intense and insane on this show. And yeah, meanwhile, Hannibal's like flirting. He's really saying some things to Will. And he says, hold on, let me just find it. Hannibal says, I think Uncle Jack sees you as a fragile little teacup, the finest china used for only special guests. And I'm like, ugh, so true. And Will is like laughing at that. He loses his marbles, and I'm like, ugh, same. Because like this show is so funny sometimes.
I mean, you do like people that can make you laugh.
Yeah, I know, but the ridiculousness of this shit that Hannibal says, and then this one is off the wall, but Will like stops laughing because of it's also like, ugh. Or Will says, "How do you see me?" And Hannibal says, "The mongoose I want under the house when the snakes slither by." Sorry, just moment of silence. What? Chills. Whew.
So
he really said that. Like, whew.
Like he made no bones of the fact that he wants to fuck with.
Yeah, literally. He was like, "Okay, well, you're sexy as fuck. I'm a like hone in." And then Jack was like, "No, wait, I'm honing in, but not in a fuck way, but in a I'm gonna use you way."
Yeah. Basically, both of them just want to use him.
Calm down. That is too much. This show is sexual anyway, so like I'm not surprised you're talking like this. So then, yeah, basically, and then I wrote, he finds Will so interesting, and he wants Will to find him interesting so bad. The way he offers himself to Will, specifically. This reminds me of this one Brooklyn Nine-Nine episode. Sorry. I don't care. I'll mention it. It's okay. I'm sorry. Of this one episode where Captain Holt and this other guy is flirting with Captain Holt, and he
like sees it immediately.
He recognizes it in the details, like the way he tied his tie, and one tie, because it's easier to like undo, basically.
Yeah.
It counts as flirting, and it's like, oh, how do you recognize in these small details? But this is just the way that like Capricorns, these pretentious like intellectuals flirt. They like do these subtle references, and it's like, what am I looking for here?
Yeah.
I'm so glad
I'm so used to being on the nose, like used to being on the nose, you know?
Yeah.
Like
I can't. Like, no, there's no real person who's as pretentious as Hannibal.
No, of course not.
And honestly, I'm glad, because I'd just lose my marbles. It would be so ridiculous. But anyways, then like basically he calls Garrett Jacob Hobbs, which is the killer, and he's like, they're coming to get you, basically, because the police have figured out that it's him, and they're gonna go show up at his door and be like, "Hiya, got you." And so then Garrett Jacob Hobbs basically holds his daughter hostage, and Will saves her by shooting Garrett Jacob Hobbs, and then Hannibal saves her as well by like tending to the wounds or whatever. And so then they become her gay dads. And that's just it.
I want to be Abigail Hobbs. Serial killer, biological father.
Yeah.
And then serial killer, adoptive parents. It's kind of fucking
and very weird. Traumatized as well.
Very traumatized.
Yeah. God, I hate what I wrote here. So this was about the scene where Hannibal walks into the room when Will is trying to like stop Abigail Hobbs from bleeding out, and then Hannibal just kind of stands there in the doorway before like helping, and I'm like, Hannibal, what are you doing standing there? He's looking sus. And I was like what did I write? Sus.
Who wrote sus?
I hate
what you've become.
Like, I don't even want to start saying this ironically. I can't. I'm not allowing myself to do that.
I told you that I will kill you if you said that out loud.
And then basically,
Hannibal's looking hella suspicious.
Yeah. But anyways, he wasn't even that suspicious, because, like, he helped out eventually, blah, blah, blah. They save Abigail Hobbs. And then this was, like, close to the end of the episode. So I ended my notes, because Alana said, "You said he wouldn't get too close." And I said, "Yeah, as if Savior Rescue Complex Will Graham could stay at a healthy distance." Because, like, he really wanted to be Abigail's father. And that's just the tea. And valid of him, but it is a product of his Savior Rescue Complex, as I put it. I don't know the proper psychological term, but anyways, I still love him. I still love all the characters, and I still love this show. So, yeah, those were the main things. I'm sorry if it was all over the place. I just wanted to say everything I could and get all these separate lines and separate points, and also have a conversation with Gauri about later seasons. And I was so happy to be able to do that because I feel like it made it a true podcast. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's it for this episode. Like and subscribe if you want to see another one. Smash that like button if you want to see another episode.
Oh my god, don't be that YouTuber.
I'm doing it ironically, just like sus.
You're staying the theme of irony.
Yeah, obviously. So yeah, I love Hannibal, so I'll definitely be talking about it later, more, no matter what anyone thinks. Because I'm obsessed, and I wanted to watch more around Halloween. So this probably won't be up until after Halloween, but you know what? It's still the fall vibes. It's still the, like, those kind of vibes.
Over, though, 'cause it snowed.
It did not snow in Peterborough. La la la. I cannot hear you. It's still fall, right? There's no snow.
Denial exists in everybody.
It literally does. But yeah.
So thank you, Bill. I relate to you denying your feelings for
Hanny,
Hanny.
Exactly.
I get it. Like father, like daughter.
Oh my god.
I'm not saying I'm Abigail Hobbs, but
okay, you can be Abigail Hobbs. That's fine. You're valid for wanting to be Abigail Hobbs. I guess, maybe.
Oh, I have to say one thing before you sign off.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about one character that's not obviously it's not she's not introduced. Bedelia, you should watch her.
Bedelia's a legend.
Hot.
Hey, we're gonna get into this when we do the real podcast. Don't you worry. You worry.
But I'm just saying. Bedelia is very hot, and the show wouldn't be the same without her.
She stresses me out.
I mean, she's cuckoo.
Yeah.
I mean, but everybody's cuckoo.
But she's also a legend. She delivers some of the best lines, and yeah. I'll definitely be talking about the best lines of Hannibal. Hopefully I'll be able to rewatch maybe a large chunk of it this fall, and I'll be able to make some podcasts on it. And also, I will make some new content. It's just I've been very busy with school. That's basically it. But this was great to be able to do one of these, and I really want to do more soon. And I think I will. I think I have a bit of time at some point, and I do want to focus on putting out more podcast content. So thank you for listening. This has been Media Munchies. This has been Logan. This has been Gauri. This has been Scylla the cat. Oh, she's so cute. She's on the floor. And this has been Media Munchies. Did I say that one? Maybe. Thank you for listening. Hanny out.
Hanny out.